Just wanted to say a couple things before we get started. To the Hunt family, Andy Reid, and Patrick Mahomes, and the Kansas City Chiefs, just like to wish them all the best in the playoffs. Obviously, it's huge for the city, and we're excited to see them win the Super Bowl. So hopefully that happens. Good luck to them. A couple updates on players. Alan Pulido will undergo surgery January 17th. He will more than likely be out the entire year. And once the surgery is over with, we'll be able to give you more information. That's him. Gadi Kinda will be out preseason and for a small portion of the start of the season. He'll miss some games early on, but then he'll be back. He had a cleanup on his knee that it will just require him to be out just a little bit longer, just to make sure that the recovery is done right. Robert Barrich, who we drafted in the reentry draft stage 2, we offered him a contract. We did not come to an agreement. And then finally, on signings, I know the question is going to get asked, so I'll kind of preempt all of you that there will be some announcements in the coming days and weeks of different players that we've signed. And I say that only because we have to wait for a lot of different things to take place. As you all know, there's contracts, agreements, all those types of things, and then immigration and then medical status of each player once they come for a physical. Until all that's all done, we can't make any announcements. So with that being said, my last and final thing is that we are still in negotiations with both Graham Zusi and Roger Espinoza. And so when we have an update on that, I'll also come back to you guys and give you an update on that. And so with that being said, I'm sure you have no questions, so we can end this. No, kidding. So I'll take the first question.
Thank you, Peter. Our first question will go to Daniel Sperry with the Kansas City Star. Daniel, your line is open.
Hi, Peter.
Hey, Daniel, congratulations on your position, buddy.
Hey, thank you. It means a lot. I'm excited to get started, and I'll take it easy on substitution rotation questions today. But no, jokes aside, with Pulido's injury, I'm assuming he goes on the season-ending injury list for you guys. Can you tell us a little bit about what kind of salary relief you guys might get from that as well?
Well, the question is a good one. It's just I can't answer that yet. That's why I said we're going to wait till after the surgery to kind of for sure confirm that he'd be out for the entire year. Expectation is probably that, but I want it to be confirmed after the surgery. So what I would tell you, let's just go hypothetically, if he was, you honestly, based on the DP, there's really not salary relief in that regard. It's minimal. But what you do get is you get the roster spot and you get the international slot that he occupies at the moment. So you would get those back. And then the other thing would be is if you just have if you've been good at managing your cap over the years and you have some, extra money or what have you to be able to afford somebody else in the interim to help out with that, void. So that's kind of where it sits.
Quick reminder that the roster compliance date for the upcoming season is not until February 25th. Next question will go to Tom Bogert with MLSsoccer.com. Tom, your line is open.
Great. Thank you. Hey, Peter, thanks for doing this. There are follow-up questions for about everything that you dropped in the opening statements, but I guess I'll just start with, what's the club's plan behind Alan Pulido now with, negotiations with Robert Barrich not working out? Where are you guys at with the number 9?
Yeah, we're still looking for a solution. It's obviously there's a lot of different things that go along with that when you lose a player of his caliber and stature and somebody you count on for more than likely the entire year. What it does is it obviously it puts you in a position that you have to now focus some of your monies that you were focused on other areas to that area as well. And look, it's very hard to replace someone like Alan because of his quality, and look, he's a high quality player. So I don't know if we're going to be able to do that. We're going to do our best. We've been searching for quite a while now, and we'll continue to keep doing it until we find something. I also feel that within the team, we have obviously some players that can play in the position, but with a body being out as well, we're going to have to add someone else that can take on some of that load. And like I said, we're turning over every single rock to find someone that fits our team and can help us. It's not just about settling for a body or a person. It's someone that has to fit the way we play.
And just to follow up there, is there anything else that you can say about, where negotiations with Beric kind of went wrong, or what the expectation was, or anything that you can fill in there?
Well, I don't know if I would use the word went wrong. I would say that we provided him with, we believe a very, very good offer. He didn't like it. So at the end, we went back a little bit back and forth, but it just, again, we have a certain amount that we can pay a person for that position at the moment. And, without having a team in MLS, and us having drafted him, again, we provided him with a very good offer from our perspective, obviously not one in which was attractive enough for him. So he declined. And so we've moved on.
Next question goes to Charles Bain with MLSsoccer.com. Charles, your line is open.
Hi, Peter. Happy New Year. Thanks for your time. My question is only, I guess, tangentially related to the draft and everything. But yesterday, Greg Berhalter spoke about what he perceives as would be the benefit of a national training center. And I wanted to ask you your perspective on this, particularly given your role in the facility you guys built there in cooperation with the Federation, whether we need that, whether we benefit from that, and whether we should already maybe be considering that facility for these types of scenarios.
I think our country is so big that just having one training facility is probably not feasible. I say that not feasible I'm not talking about financially. I'm talking about more just from a location perspective. I think one of the things that we provide is here in Kansas City is that we provide, 4 seasons, which can be important, especially during qualification. And then the other piece too is that centrally located to be able to, travel east or west, being in the middle helps I think the national team immensely from a travel perspective as well. And players traveling in from the different coasts and players that are using an MLS. So it makes it, easier flight for everybody. And then look, I mean, I don't think I have to, try to pump up the facilities. The facilities are best in the country. So from that perspective, and I know Greg would agree because he's been here and he says it every time he's here. But I also think that they, I'm not trying to push them that way, but they obviously need something in a warm climate, I would assume as well, because if they're trying to get ready for something in January, they're not, I mean, we can't even do preseason here in January. So I understand that would be a necessity.
Next question goes to Oscar Gallardo with ESPN. Oscar, your line is open.
Thanks. Hey, Peter, could you tell us about further details about Alan's surgery? Is it the left knee again, or what about
it's the knee it's the knee that he injured with the national team. It was an ongoing situation ever since I can't remember. I think it was in April. I think it was March or April this past year. And I've said this before and I'll say it again. I think I give Alan a lot of credit. He tried everything he could. He played through incredible pain. There was an amazing amount of fluid after many practices and games that were withdrawn from his knee. And it just, everybody thought that it was, and I believe it was the right idea. They went and tried to do a minor surgery to see if they could alleviate the problem, but it just was unfortunate that it couldn't be eliminated. And so at the end, he has to be fit and 100% right from his injury before he can participate And it's just it's not good for him to be in pain all the time and not being able to do the things that he can do as a player. So this is by far, I 100% agree with everyone that this is the correct approach, and this should fix the problem. So now it's just about him actually doing the surgery and then the rehab and all that. And we're going to make sure that, that every single detail there is taken care of so that when he returns, he's ready to go.
Next question goes to Thad Bell with SB Nation. Thad, your line is open.
Hey, Peter. Yeah, you did throw a lot of information out there to start with. We've obviously covered the striker position. There's some other spots that look a little thin. Can you talk about any positions you're specifically trying to add some depth at this point?
It's the only place that we're not adding depth is the goalkeeper position. We feel that with Timmy Poolskamp and Kendall, that we sit in a very good position there. And we have a good goalkeeper crop throughout the pro player pathway. So we feel very comfortable there. I think in all the other three lines that we're looking to add players. So we'll continue to try and do that. And like I said, there'll be some announcements coming in different parts of the field. And so when that happens, we'll for sure make sure that all of you guys are notified.
Speaking of the pro player pathway, and Sporting 2 also still needs to be built out, a coach and some players signed there. How's that progress?
Yeah, we'll probably have an announcement in the coming days in and around that as well. We're close with that too. So there's quite a few announcements to come. It's just that we're kind of dotting some I's and crossing some T's. That's really what it comes down to.
Sorry, I raised my hand accidentally, Kurt. Sorry.
No problem. Our next question will go to Chad Smith with SB Nation. Chad, your line is open.
Hey, Peter. Good morning. Just to follow up one more time on the striker position, you mentioned Robert Barrett. You guys had made an offer to him and that you felt was a very good offer. Can you confirm, would he have been a designated player? And if so, is Sporting in the position to buy down one of their current DPs to make room for him?
He would not. He would not have been a DP. No.
Our next question goes to Daniel Sperry with the Kansas City Star. Daniel, your line's back open.
Just kind of, I know Pulido's going to be a big topic, so continuing on that subject, what are you looking for a DP striker that could fill in behind Pulido? Is that on the table, or are we looking something more maybe within the league or other options that maybe won't be as expensive as a DP?
We have all three DPs. Our full DPs, we have all three of them already accounted for, so it won't be a DP. No.
The next question goes to Chad Smith again with SB Nation. Chad, your line's open.
Thank you again. To kind of switch gears and talk about the super draft, the importance of it's kind of waned in recent years. The team hasn't had a regular starter from the draft in basically a decade in Dom Dwyer. Does the team approach potential draft picks and see if they're willing to sign with the second team before they pick them? And kind of what is your strategy around the super draft?
Well, I think the other thing you have to take in consideration is that, I still think there's good players that come out of the super draft. I think the difference is that when you finish high in the table every year, your picks wind up being very low. And so a lot of players go off the board very quickly. Is it as deep as it used to be? No. And let's not say that there's bad players. That's not it at all. I think what's happened is that, this has been a consequence of the academies doing a great job. A lot of kids staying within the pro player pathway and, either eliminating school altogether and signing a pro contract, or maybe spending 1 year or 2 years and then leaving pretty quickly. And so a lot of those players that would have entered into college are now staying within those clubs. And obviously with the number of teams we have in MLS and the number of academies, you can imagine how much of an impact that's had on college soccer. It's enormous. So for us, again, if you have a high draft pick, or you can find a way to trade up and it's not breaking the bank, or I think also the other thing for a lot of teams too is foreign slots. There's a lot of things that that don't get taken into consideration. An example is that COVID has had an incredible impact on immigration, and also the U.S. embassies in all the different countries around the world. And so the process of getting work permits, the process of green cards, all of that stuff has slowed down immensely, and it's affected all the teams in our league. And so that has an effect as well. And that's why, so when you say philosophically, I think always open to, hey, if a player is good enough and he can make the first team and have an impact, tremendous. We're always open to that. The good thing I think for a lot of these players as well is that the majority of MLS teams have second teams, and they have an opportunity there as well. And then there's USL and the other leagues that are out there. But with our second teams, it winds up being another place where they can develop a little bit more before they would come into the first team. But again, it depends on where your picks are and who you're able to acquire at that time.
Appreciate that answer. To kind of switch gears again, since we last spoke with you, the team has signed left back Ben Sweat and midfielder Yuri Rizal. Where do you see those players fitting into the team? Do you envision them as the starters at their spots?
Yeah, I that's something I wouldn't comment on. I think both of them have, an incredible opportunity to make those positions theirs. But a lot of that's going to have to do with preseason and, as we move into the season. And obviously, as all of you know, it's always a long year, 34 games, Open Cup this year. Hopefully that all works out and everybody will get a chance to play. And I think, I always say that guys figure that out. They figure that out for me. It's through their play. It's through their training every day. It's through when they do play, do we get results of them on the field? All those things matter. But we're bringing guys in to have an impact in the team. Not just signing someone to sign someone.
Peter, thank you very much for the time today.
Thanks, everybody.